Shalom. Kol halalimla abanoa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. We're going home soon, Yasharala. Not long left. Okay, Lord willing. And we're going home soon. Okay, let's get back to the fact of the matter. All right. Now, I found this new segment last night. All right, 18th of October. It's funny, it came out on the 18th, right? What's 18? 666, right? 6 times 3 is 18. You've got to look at the days and times they show these new segments as well. Now, doesn't this allude to something? Look at this, the Purge. The people are knocking on the doors wearing masks, right? Maybe the Lord, because Halloween, so-called, or Halloween falls on the 31st of October falls on a Friday night. And you know how people are in the West with their Friday nights. They like to get a little bit extra creative, right? Maybe the Lord will, let a purge sort of pop off on that day. It's Halloween. It's a trick or a treat. They want to trick you to death. you know, something along those lines. Okay, let's see how the Lord does it. All right, how things unfold. All right, I'm going to play as a new segment, and Lord willing, go into a couple of scriptures as well, man. Okay. Now, just a little bit of, from what I feel this is what this is. Now, there's 3 individuals standing outside. By the way, this is outside of an Israelite woman's house, and I haven't. How long was the interview? It's about 1 minute 54 seconds, and I believe when I watched it last night, there was not a man in sight. There was not a man in sight. All right, and it was an Israelite woman that owns a yard. That's her house, and these 3 characters, from how they're behaving and how they talk, more than likely Edomites. And I'm assuming this is just a regular neighborhood, probably various Jake families, maybe a couple of poor Edomite families, a couple of Northern Kingdom families, or maybe it's just predominantly a Jake neighborhood. I'm not too sure. All right, and I believe, what area is this, by the way? Let me see so I can figure it out. In Virginia. All right, so that's in I'm not too. I believe in the South or the country sort of part, But nevertheless, it's in Virginia. But I'm gonna play it. Let's go.
Chilling video captured on a Ring doorbell camera.
Open the door!
3 people wearing Halloween masks terrorizing a family in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., late Tuesday night.
Wait, let's go back here.
In Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C.
You can see the pale flesh behind the eyes. All right. Is that the flesh, or is that just the rubber mask there? Could be pale flesh. Not sure.
Late Tuesday night.
The worst nightmare.
The 3 apparently laughing at first, but their actions quickly becoming more sinister. From pulling on the front door.
Open the door! Open the door!
To making the motion of cutting their throat before threatening to break into the house.
I'm gonna count to 10. If this door doesn't open, we're gonna come in. 1, 2.
I said Happy Halloween when they first came, asked them to get off the property. When they didn't, that's when I realized it wasn't a joke anymore.
Our ABC affiliate WJLA speaking with Shayla, one of those family members, inside. She says the 3 never got into the house.
They tore the whole thing down.
She says they made their way to the backyard, destroying her fence and the screen to the back door.
They came through there, and that's how they entered to get to our door to be able to knock on the back door.
I'm not aware of incidents that have occurred this heinous before, and that's why it's so concerning.
Police in Alexandria now investigating, the chief calling this video very alarming.
But we're going to take every step once we identify them, to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Investigators say what may be seen as a prank days before Halloween is no joke.
Going around to their backyard, destroying property, and transitions from a prank to a criminal offense. And we take these incidents seriously.
And the chief says his message to whoever did this is turn yourself in. Shayla says that is her mom's house. Her mom now lives in fear because they do not know who did this. Police say they have promising leads with.
Well, that's good that they have leads. They're just terrifying.
Now you look at it, right? In a situation like that, right? In any household, right? You as a man with common sense, if this, God forbid, or Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai forbid it, if this happened to a Jake's house, that's in the truth, right? If it did happen, right? You as a man, I'm not going to let your mother or your wife be in front of the camera talking. You'll deal with it as yourself, like a man. And obviously, in this situation, there's no man in the house. Now, whether these three little idiots know, these three clowns, literal clowns, know that there's women there, hence the reason why they probably did it. But nevertheless, it is a scary situation to be in. You can see the unbalanced way the people are in this world. It's a very sick world that we're in. And very similar to the movie The Purge. Before The Purge actually kicked off, I believe in the movie, you saw a lot of the people wearing different types of masks a couple of days before, riding around in their rollerblades or skateboards or something along those lines, or just walking about, sort of getting in the so-called spirit of the season of the Purge, right? And this is letting you know that we're coming to that time. There's going to be a huge purge happening, all right? Which basically means, Second Ezra is kicking off. Second Ezra 15, Jacob's trouble, and people just the love of many waxing cold. Not that the so-called white man loves the Israelites anyway, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. There was no love there in the first place. But all right, but even amongst our own now, as allegedly, I'm assuming it's possibly so-called Edom, so-called white people behind those masks. Only the Lord knows. All right, but there is no love. There's no love between our own people. Deuteronomy 20 verse 54. So we don't know who's behind those masks, because a lot of our own so-called people, let's just say 2 parts of them, they're not my people at the moment. Those 2/3 are gonna delete other 2/3. So it's basically 2 birds being deleted by 1 stone, as they say. That's the saying correctly, right? Okay, so this is a very horrifying situation for anybody, especially they knocked on the door and they did this bullshit, and people believe in it's Halloween. And what did the so-called black woman say? What did Eve say? What did she say? Happy, happy, what? Hallow, what? All right, happy, what? And that's a demonic holiday. And the Lord lets you know in the book of Jeremiah that the Lord does not like these worldly holidays. All right, but our people still go to the wacky-tacky Christian church and then still cut out pumpkins, all right, and then make those heads out of it. Those pumpkins allude to people's chopped off heads, and dancing around at ghouls and goblins with demons on them, because those masks, right, and those outfits probably have done black magic done to it by certain wizards and witches and shit before they even sold these certain dolls and shit that are put out on the market. That thing with the movie Chucky is real, man. Certain spirits can inhabit these masks, these outfits, so-called black woman's hair, the fake hair that she buys, There's some real demonic vibrations out there. And the Lord's going to make all your nightmares come to pass. All right? Okay? So, this is also making the so-called black woman feel unstable, unprotected, Jake tries so hard to fit in, but you don't want it in this world. All right? Try to fit in with these worldly bullshit holidays. So we're coming to that time where things are really going to get serious out here. You would assume it's a prank, just if they did this, knock to the doorbell, said, whoa, get out of the house, 10 seconds or whatever, right? But motherfuckers broke the screen door. They went inside the property, right? And as you can see, there's nothing but women in there, or a woman just came out. All right? Now, if she had a man or a husband, right, in the house, he would be there dealing with this conversation with the reporter. All right. So a lot of you women out there are going to get caught in this, man. A lot of you women, right? Attractive, unattractive. Attractive ones are going to be more of a target, of course, because an attractive woman is a huge target in the world. In a world where it's still somewhat stable, she's an attraction for most men, obviously, because she's an attractive woman, right? And most men will try their, get pull themselves together and get some courage to go and maybe speak to her, talk to her, right? But when all hell breaks loose, and all these memories of attractive women, or where does she live? She lives at number 33 and 3341 on so and so drive and so avenue. And yeah, I've been seeing her. She leaves the office at 5:30. Man, she's fine. She got a fat ass. She got a nice rack, long hair, pretty nice mouth. She's pretty, She's in shape. She got no septum ring, no tattoos. She's gorgeous. A lot of people are going to keep these thoughts in their mind. And Yahweh Shai is going to alert these thoughts in a lot of sick people's minds. And the Lord is going to send these demonic vibrations and these spirits on these people. All right? And they're going to come out and grape a lot of women, probably dudes too, because some of these people are on that, I hate to say rainbow, because the rainbow's got nothing to do with that Mo lifestyle, but I'll just use the term rainbow. All right? A lot of them people are like that. Okay? Let's just play it again, man.
A family in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., late Tuesday night.
The worst nightmare.
The three apparently laughing at first, but their actions quickly becoming more sinister. From pulling on the front door
Open the door! Open the door!
to making the motion of cutting their throat before threatening to break into the house.
I'm gonna count to 10. If this door doesn't open, we're gonna come in.
Big bad wolf.
1, 2.
I said Happy Halloween when they first came, asked them to get off the property. When they didn't, that's when I realized it wasn't a joke anymore.
Our ABC affiliate WJLA speaking with Shayla, one of those family members.
Mom, if you're an Israelite, right? Okay, I don't know whether she knows she's an Israelite or not. Probably not, or maybe she's heard of it. In the so-called black world. But someone's still saying the happy, hello, what? I don't even want to say that whole the whole word, right? In 2025, you're completely bugged out. When I look at Jakes with Christmas trees in their yard and saying this happy hello shit, in 2025, I think you're just completely doolally, man. You're completely crazy,
Side. She says the three never got into the house.
They tore the whole thing down.
She says they made their way to the backyard, destroying her fence and the screen to the back door.
They came through there, and that's how they entered to get to our door to be able to knock on the back door.
I'm not aware of incidents that have.
And that's more than a couple $100 worth of damage, right? The damn door. You got to get like a carpenter to come and fit that in, repair it. The screen needs to be repaired. There's some damage there as well. A lot of people are already struggling financially, and that lady there is a homeowner too. She looks like a well-to-do sort of woman. Probably got a decent job or whatever. Probably the council, or I don't know. She looks professional. She don't look too crazy or nothing, with no septum ring and blue hair and all that bullshit.
Heard this heinous before, and that's why it's so concerning.
Police in Alexandria now investigating. The chief calling this video very alarming.
But we're going to take every step once we identify them to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Investigators say what may be seen as a prank days before Halloween is no joke.
Going around to their backyard, destroying property, and transitions from a prank to a criminal offense. And we take these incidents seriously.
And the chief says his message to whoever did this is turn yourself in. Shayla says that is her mom's house. Her mom now lives in fear because they do not know who did this. Police say they have promising leads with.
Well, that's good that they have leads. They're just
All right, the lady Shayla said that's her mother's house. So I'm assuming she lives with her mother. Mother's pretty older. She's probably like one of the daughters that's there to take care of her, like we do. The oldest in the family usually takes care of the elders, like your grandparents or parents, because you don't want to put them in an old people's home. And there's nothing wrong with taking care of your elders, okay? As Jake, we don't really do that. Throw our people in our old people's home unless you absolutely have to, man. But anyway, I start digressing too much, man. Seriously. You know, a lot of people are snapping. A lot of people have been vaccinated with the snake juice during the 1-9 period. There's a lot of chemicals in the air, a lot of demonic vibrations. Esau is praying to his demons, sending these vibrations out, and these spirits are going out there. All right. And this is just a prelude to how things are really going to get down. There's going to be a point where people will be walking around and riding around on bikes, skateboards, electric scooters with masks on and machetes in their hands and pistols in their hands, pew-pews in their hands. You know, it's going to get like that. People are going to get very creative. All right. While things are so-called semi-normal, while the stores and shops are open, while you still can somewhat buy things. And then things are going to really progress to the level of it's going to be like damn near, what's that movie called, man, with Mel Gibson? Mad Max. Okay. It's going to get really bad, man. Really bad. All right. Let's go to some scriptures now. Lord willing. Jeremiah 30 verse 6, ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Fear. Okay, a lot of you gangster jakes, like a lot of you YNs, a lot of you gun-toting gangsters with your masks on, you know, you see another so-called black or Hispanic or Native Indian man, what do? You show your pistol. You see Esau walking through your neighborhood with the prettiest so-called black, Hispanic or Native Indian woman. You give him a pass because you don't so-called know him. He's not trouble. You see one of your own, where you from, yo? You know, where you at? Where you from? You know? All right? As Elder Bishop Manatazak would say, ninjas' guns are only good for other ninjas. All right? It doesn't really, you know, pop off against a real enemy. Right? And what was the older brother saying in those videos that were made? They were saying, "Where are you YNs now? ICE is in Chicago, everywhere. You YNs are inside the house now, right? Listen to your mama, you know, doing what you're supposed to do. You know, some of them probably even picked up a book, sitting inside, taking their masks off, ski masks off. You know, put their pistols away, you know, underneath the floorboards or whatever. You know, and already." You know, a lot of these men are already, you know, travail with child. Like they're basically behaving like a woman, you know, and their faces are turning to paleness. Not literally pale. This is fear, you know, like the blood just goes from your skin. You just go pale, you know, fear. These jakes are already in fear, and ICE ain't really got busy like that yet. They're getting busy. Don't get it twisted, but they're not got busy to that extent. They will very soon, along with these troops that are entering each country under the disguise of being migrants. All right? Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right? The elect are going to be safe. Okay? The yous ain't going to be. You 2/3 are not going to be. You Edomites are not going to be. You heathens are not going to be. All right? 2 Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right. And the love of many is waxing cold. And people ain't going to even help women like that. People are going to say, you know what? Like in the movie World War Z, when Brad Pitt was in the store, I think it was a pharmacy or some kind of chemist or whatever, or drugstore where he's trying to get medication for his children. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. And there's a Jake Copper runs in. I think Brad Pitt has a shotgun in his hand, and the Jake Copper runs in, all right, and he looks at Brad Pitt, doesn't say a damn thing. Brad Pitt puts his hands up, puts a gun up in the air, and he just runs past him, grabs what he needs to grab, and because he's got to take care of his own, people are not going to give a SHIT. Oh, she's a female, yo. She's a woman, yo. She's a female. Protect her. They're not going to give a SHIT about that. People are going to be worried about their own kith and kin, They're not going to care about Sally across the street, or LaQuisha across the street, or Mary Beth across the street. They're not going to give a shit. Or they don't have no man in the house, yo. No. Jake going to be in the house saying, you know what? I got to take care of mine. I got to take care of mine. All right? So the love already there is waxing cold. People ain't going to... Women are getting raped on trains and people are just recording it or not saying nothing. For the woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? They're already saying no kings, there's no love for the heads of state. You already know about that. Sedition, men coming together, people coming together, commiserating, talking, saying, yo, so-and-so is the problem. They're the issue. They're either going to make videos about it, or they're going to be sitting in their local pub. If they find one open, they're going to start talking about it, or they're going to find a location or rent a hall and get their own kith and kin and their own race, their own people in there saying, this is what we got to do. And a lot of Edomites are already doing that, while you gangster jakes are wearing ski masks, destroying yourself, smoking weed. Right? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right? That's going to come to pass too. All right? There's going to be a time when the thing goes mandatory with the digital ID, completely mandatory, especially in the UK. They're going to have their checkpoints to see if you've got the ID or not. And they're already sort of doing that sort of trial in a place called Croydon, which is near South London in the UK, which is a huge hub. They've already using facial biometrics. CCTV have been here for ages. All right, in the UK, we've got tons of cameras. But the biometric ones are a little bit different. They're a step above your regular CCTV. So they're already got those checkpoints out, Esau, the coppers have got like the handheld handsets in their hand just to see if anybody's being caught in those biometric cameras. So they it's all sort of coming, the wheels are turning, as they say, or churning or turning, right, in the direction the Lord Yahweh Hashem Shai wants it to happen. And these things will come to pass. All right, as our elders would say, the elders of Great Millstone, there's a time to prophesy, and then there's a time for these prophecies to take place. And that's happening right now in real time. You think this is some fucking game or something, like where these kinds of images they show you in movies? I think this is the first one from 2013, right? And then you got, what's that video segment again? And then you got this, turning up at your front door. And this Halloween bullshit is next Friday. And this happened on the 18th as well. 18th of October. What's 18? 666, right? I think when we read one more scripture, we'll leave it there. Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. They appease, this is Yahweh Shemeshai's decision. All right? The Lord controls the right-hand side, the good, and the evil. Isaiah 45 verse 7. Okay? Let's go there. Let me read one more scripture, then I'll leave it there. Isaiah 45 verse 7 KJV. As I've quoted it, I want to read it. Blessed is he that readeth, right? Isaiah 45 verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, do all these things. Right? So this is the kind of times that we're living in. We're living in a very, very sick, chemically, mentally imbalanced world. All right? You got motherfuckers showing like that on your front door, and you're a woman living alone. Look, these three crazy showing up at your front door. What are you going to think? All right? And I think in Virginia, the gun laws are kind of loose as well, where in terms of you can blast some, weirdo coming at your door like that, man. Go out there with a shotty, I'm not too sure because I'm from the UK, so I'm not too sure because each state's got its own little, different gun laws, right? So, all right. So we're living in a very sick world, man. All right. Look, all right. So yeah, listen, man. The Lord is gonna get busy, man. People are really gonna get taken. All right, really get taken. You got a combination of mentally imbalanced people that have been vaccinated with the snake juice, right? People that are depressed, that are that are snapped, that are going through mental breakdowns. People that are lacking in certain areas. Okay, so people that are racist, people that are racist and have a combination of everything I've already mentioned, and not to mention the other million and one things. People got reason to start deleting people. All right, and especially people that have been affected by the truth of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, whether they're Israelites or not. Right, a lot of not heathens know that their optimism and their happiness is gone, and with a sinking ship, they don't want no survivors left behind. Because if they're gonna get deleted, they want to take you with them. So you're gonna have a lot of sick people out here, man. All right, and these are the times that we're coming into. All right, and Esau lets you know, man, in their movies. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna leave it there now. All right, so be circumspect, man. Keep your head on a swivel, okay? Because things are gonna get real dangerous out here very soon. But the elect are gonna be protected. All right. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Shalom.